If you use my discount code down below and use my link down below, it also helps out the channel, but equally, you also get 5% off. What's going on, people? My name is Alex Elliott and welcome back to the channel. Now, the legend is back. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about Ohmicide. And the reason why I say this is a legend is because when I started producing nearly 20 years ago now, this plugin existed. And then at some point, it just disappeared off the face of the earth. So when I saw on my Instagram that they were making a new plugin, I was so excited. And then to make things better, the company had then reached out to me to ask me to do a video. I said, listen, stop right there. You don't need to convince me on anything. I'm absolutely going to make a review of this legendary plugin. So firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you this beat and I'm going to break down how I used Ohmicide on this production. Okay, so if you're liking the sound of that, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off all the instances of Ohmicide on this production so you can actually hear how much of a difference this thing was actually making to this beat. Full disclaimer for this video, I completely get like sidetracked at certain points and I had to record certain sections so many times because every time I was trying to stay on course and show you how I did something, I would discover something new and it just went down this rabbit hole of possibilities. So I've split this video up into sections. So if you know you want to see something specific, the second half will be me just kind of playing with it on loops and things like that. And then the first half is going to be me breaking down production wise how I did what I did. So let me take you through what I did first and foremost. The first place I actually ended up using Ohmicide and trying it out was the drums. I had this very simple hi-hat pattern, no additional processing whatsoever. It's literally just hi-hats from Addictive Drums. And this is how they sounded by themselves. So the first thing I did is I went through the presets, and the great thing about Ohmicide is it's organized in a way where you've got drum, kick, snare, percussion, hi-hats, all of these different sections, but you can of course go to the synth section and put something from there as a preset onto drums. You could do whatever you want, but I firstly started off by going on to drums and I went through the different presets and I found this one called Drum Glitch Core, and have a listen to what this is doing to the drums. And then let's have a listen to how that even sounds in context as well, with the kick and everything else. Now listen to that. It is just one of those unpredictable things with Ohmicide. So what I do to solve that issue is, because I can't always use the gate to fix that because the gate will sometimes eat into part of the sounds that I don't want. So that is why I ended up actually taking that sound, bouncing it down to audio, and then that way I was able to just cut off the tail because I absolutely loved what the distortion was adding to that sound so much that I just thought, you know what, this will be an easy compromise. The second place I ended up using it was actually on this bass hit here. Now I'll play you this sound without Ohmicide. And you can see here I've added OTT, and the reason being is because I was trying to use OTT to essentially do what Ohmicide ends up doing, but just to bring more mid-range and more energy out of this sound. Have a listen to how it is with nothing at all. You can hear it's just a bit weedy, do you know what I mean? But I wanted to make this something that could be a really intense moment to just like anchor the downbeat. Now, OTT did a good job of bringing out a little bit of that energy. But it's was just not finishing off the job for me. So once again, I went to Ohmicide, the legend, and bruv, you lot can say that word, yeah. I do not know what this word says, but I think I went to bass. Did I go to bass or did I go to synth? Guitar, that's where I found it. And I found this preset called Claviclenet. Listen, don't judge me in the comments, man. But listen to what this does to the sound. It's not just the attack. Listen to what it does to even the tail of the sound. And then when you hear that in context within that section, and I'll take it off. It's just absolutely filthy distortion. And don't worry, I will get into in this video actual like breakdown of the parameters and all of these kind of things, but I just want to showcase what it's doing to these individual elements. The other sound that I ended up using it on was this synth sound here. Bloody heck. That's one thing with my Udo Super 6 or any analog synth for that matter. You just always got to make sure to sweep up the low end because my goodness. But this sound, I don't know how I made this sound. One day I set aside time and said, I'm just going to make loads of presets on the Udo Super 6. And I ended up making this sound. And I loved the core essence of this sound. However, within the context of the production, it just felt like it didn't have the edge and the grit that I was after. Have a listen to how it is without the Ohmicide again. Now, I want there to be way more energy in that sound. So initially you could think, okay, well, just chuck an EQ on there, Alex, you know what I mean? And just do a massive high shelf. But have a listen to what that will do. You know, it's nice, but it still, of course, kept the essence of the original sound. But I genuinely wanted to just find a way to make it more exciting. So once again, I just went preset browsing and I did make something from scratch. Don't worry, I will get into that. But I just want to showcase how you could just have a sound that feels a little bit boring and just go through presets and just find something just mental. Now, I do believe for this one, I went to synth, and then in synth, was it Le Swag? Was that there? There it is. Number 13, Le Swag Synthetique, with the little French on the side there, bruv. But these distortions are obviously very impacted by what sound goes into them. And because I cut out all of that low end energy, it completely changed the sound of this distortion. Have a listen to how it sounds when I allow that low energy to go into this distortion. So that is a classic example of just how responsive and reactive. I didn't even plan for that to happen. When I soloed this out, I was just like, why is there so much bass in this? I need to high past it, without thinking of how much of an impact it was going to have on Ohmicide. So if you are using Ohmicide, you can honestly play with EQ before it and EQ after it to completely change and shift the sounds as well. So they're the like three kind of base level points that I use this sound. But the place where I got really excited when I was using this sound was on the string, because that's when I said, you know what, I'm going to go through these parameters and I'm actually going to build this sound out myself. So I'm going to show you it with it and I'm going to show you it without it. And then I'm going to load up a brand new instance of Ohmicide and kind of take you through step by step what I actually did. Now, I do have to have the other instance open at the same time because, bruv, I have no idea how I did what I did. I just set it to natural and I started playing with it and I don't have it on memory. So I'm going to have the other one there just to as a reference point. But have a listen to this string sound and what the Ohmicide is adding to this sound. I'll solo it by itself first. And then without it. With it. Hey, listen, don't get me gas, man. Now, I'm really proud of this sound. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually really, really proud of this sound. So the interface, even though it can look like quite intense, it's actually quite intuitive once you get into it. You've got pre, you've got X, you've got 1 and 2, you've got 3 and 4 as well. But essentially you can make this thing multi-band distortion. If I create a certain distortion here, this will only affect below 1000 hertz, as you can see. And as I move this, it's changing the range. So if I only wanted to add distortion to the lower half and not the top half, or I wanted to add it to the top half and not the low half, I could do it here. And all of these parameters change per section. So say, for example, I put that like that. Then I go here, you can see it isn't changing on this one, and that applies to every single thing. So that being said, for me, as I'm getting into it, I like to work from the default place. So I go to neutral, and then once I'm on neutral, I then tend to go to post, and I just use post because I want to do everything at the end of the chain. Now, the first thing I did was I selected the distortion, and this is how you know I was so new to this plugin, because I literally just clicked the first thing on the strings and it just sounded insane, and I just kept it. So have a listen to how this one sounds here. Level match. I mean, even that by itself as a form of like saturation, have a listen to how it helps those strings cut through. So I'll turn it off. So if you wanted to keep things simple, and of course you've got wet dry, and you've got all of these distortion algorithms that I'll try and have a play with in the second half of this video a little bit later. But after that, I then wanted to make it feel like it was moving in the stereo field. So I ended up actually modulating this LFO, and I do that by, I hit select. I'm sure this is the right order. I hit select, and then I click what I want to modulate. And now this is now modulating this pan, as you can see. And I changed the speed to 1/4 because musically it felt like that was just giving me a lot of left and right movement that was kind of in a nice tempo with the rhythm. Check this out. Now, after this, I did actually want to modulate the feedback, because what I discovered is when you turn this thing all the way up, it was adding like additional rhythms to the groove. I can't explain it. I'm gonna have to show you what I mean. I'm gonna turn it all the way to 100%. Like, I love things that are just creative. I love things where I could put the idea down, and then it's like, it's almost like assisting in the sense of it's just so unpredictable and crazy, because that thing is reacting like this to this. But if I was to throw something on drums, I was so tempted to do it, but Alex, stay focused. It's just going to react a completely different way, like altogether. However, that was like a bit intense. So I did actually end up modulating it, and I'm gonna have to turn this one on to remind myself exactly how I modulated it and by what amount I modulated it as well. By the looks of things, I went to the second one and I hit select, and then I went to modulate feedback amount. And instead of using a sine wave, you can actually choose any shape you want, like parabella. I've never even seen that one before. Like, they've really just taken every possible shape and put it inside of this thing. But you can also use a step sequencer if you want, and you can change the amount of steps there are in your sequence, and you can just make it, you know, do whatever you want here as well, for example. And as you can see, it's kind of moving with the step sequence by varying amounts. Up would be positive value, down would be negative values. But for me, I wanted to just use a saw wave because I wanted it to have the feeling of it just growing and coming back down. And for BPM, I use 4 beat. Okay. Here we go. I set it to modulate it all the way. Now, one thing I do want to note, when you listen to this, you're going to hear like clicks and pops, and I'm going to show you how to solve that, but just hear it first. So if you do get the plugin and you had this issue, you know how to fix it. So you hear those clicks and pops. What's happening there is it's actually the edges of this curve. Now, if you go to smooth and you just turn that up a little bit, it actually ends up getting rid of that. The creativity is nuts. It doesn't even stop there. You can actually turn this spread knob, and what this essentially did is it took the feedback instead of it being in the middle and it just completely put it into the sides. And have a listen to how this sounds. Without it, it's just nuts, honestly. Now, I wouldn't say this is a plugin for the beginner, right? This is definitely a plugin. Let me correct myself. If you're a beginner, you can absolutely get by just searching through the presets and going through the presets. But I guess what I'm trying to say is where this really comes to life is when you actually start to sound design with this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this just across the drum bus. Now, my drum bus doesn't have my kick in it. It's just going to be the tops of my drum bus. And I'm just going to have a play and I'm just going to see what kind of sounds I can make. So this is that second half of the video that I promised you. Bro, this plugin ain't come to play no games. That default thing came in with an entrance. But anyway, generally, I like to do a lot of my stuff on post. And because this is the drums, I kind of want to try and find a way to get that really thick, mid-range, heavy type of distortion, which doesn't have like a ton of top end, but just kind of makes them like lo-fi, but still with a ton of energy. That's the sound I have in my mind, and that's the sound I'm going to try and achieve. So let's just jump into this and see where we go. Okay, distortion choice. Adding rhythm, bro. Nah, come on. Hey, Jellyfish, that idea I said I'm gonna create has gone out the window. I'm gonna go where this thing takes me, bro. Now, already I'm seeing the value of pre and post because I love what Jellyfish is doing. However, I actually want to add energy after Jellyfish. So I'm gonna go find Jellyfish again. Jellyfish, where are you? There you are. And I'm going to set Jellyfish and I'm going to leave my post so that I can actually have distortion, the normal distortion on the post one, so that I get whatever rhythmic artifacts are being added by Jellyfish and then let them go into that distortion. And let's just see how that sounds. Low pass filter. Interesting. Just adding in low pass filter and even allowing it to be at the top of the shelf just actually smooths out that top. So have a listen. Without it. Now, what if I did something crazy that you never do, right? What if I just went to the low end part of this like track, right? There's no kick in there, remember? And I added feedback so that it doesn't affect the top end, but just like the low end. Let's see what's going on there, bruv. Let me just, I'm going to close Ableton and open it again because, bruv, I need to make a video about auto-tuning. I know this is off topic, but they've got me running, in 2025, I'm running my thing in Rosetta mode because when you run the new auto-tune on the M4 Max, not in Rosetta mode, bruv, the thing doesn't even remember your auto-tune settings. So it's not that this is CPU intensive, it's that auto-tune is forcing me to run in Rosetta, and they released a brand new version of auto-tune and they haven't even fixed the other one. But anyway, I'm getting annoyed. Let me not even get into that right now. I'm going to close this, open it up again, and we can continue. Okay, now that issue, hey, bruv, in Jesus' name, bruv, I don't know what them images are, bruv, but anyway, now that I've got that sorted out, yeah, let's just jump back into the creativity of this thing. Yeah, bro, I didn't even have time to process, like, what? This is is this not reverb? Is that not some kind of reverb happening now? Now, what I'm curious about, does the wet dry work per band? Don't tell me the wet. No, that's crazy. Because anything in my mind is possible. Because I was thinking, what if I wanted that to have movement with like a filter or something, but I didn't want to control everything else? So literally, no matter what you click, all of this becomes like its own version. So I've even lost Jellyfish. Jellyfish is here. Okay, here we go. The fact that we have the feedback on this middle band, I now want the filter to kind of affect that feedback. Let's have a listen. Interesting. Now, that is, of course, affecting the entire frequency range of this section. But what I'm trying to achieve is the sound of just that feedback effect coming in and out. So I think the way I'm going to approach it instead is I'm actually just going to automate the wet dry for this particular section. So that will be the same as like turning up and turning down that particular sound. And then I'm just going to, do you know what, musically, I'm just going to use this one to modulate it, to be honest. And I think I want a square because I want it to be completely on and completely off rather than like going in between. And I'll set it to smooth just to stop any clicks and stuff. Like, honestly, this is good. I don't want this to be an hour video. I really don't want this to be an hour video. But I think if you're someone who you know about this type of plugin or this kind of sound design, or you're just looking to take sounds that, you know, everyone uses, like there's so many sounds out there, but there's so many people that use the same sounds over and over again. And even like Omnisphere just dropped, and, you know, fast forward 5 years, there's going to be set sounds in Omnisphere that's in everyone's production, but you want to find a way to make your sound unique, then honestly, just go through this thing and preset browse and just find things that you love in the presets. But I would honestly say, take the time to learn this thing, yeah? Because if you're a producer, if you learn this is the kind of plugin that will make people say, bro, what is that sound you're using? Bro, how did you get that sound? And the mad thing is, yeah, you can't even tell them how you got that sound. Do you think I'm going to remember how I've done this? No, I'm just going to have to load it up and check. And that's the beauty with a plugin about this. It truly does unlock your creativity and just works with you in a way where you just end up with absolutely crazy sounds. So I'm absolutely going to save whatever this is as a preset and call it funky feedback drums. And then listen, when I'm working on a production in the future, I can just load up the preset. So if you enjoyed this video, drop me a like, drop me a comment. But also don't forget, if you use my discount code down below and use my link down below, it also helps out the channel. But equally, you also get 5% off. My name is Alex Elliott, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Okay, Alex, also this section, yeah, don't get sidetracked. Don't get sidetracked. I tried to stay on track, guys. I couldn't. I'm just going to do that quickly and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I made this sound. I promise. But we just got, listen, man, it's creativity, bro. Stop judging me. So I want it to go the other way. I want it to be, okay, Alex, honestly, this whole section here, Alex, scrap it. Just stay on topic, and then for the second half of the video, bro, you can get creative because, bro, you're doing too many things. Jeez, bro, this is gonna be a mad video to edit, bro. There's so much going on in this video.